Fractal Enigma presents Broken and Rebuilt by Milo Hart. Chapter 1. Shattered. The pop in Logan's shoulder sounded like a champagne cork. He heard it over 40,000 screaming fans, over the organ, blaring New York, New York, over his own heartbeat thundering in his ears. The sound of his career ending, sharp, wet, wrong, echoed through his body like a gunshot. The baseball left his hand anyway. Muscle memory couldn't stop what momentum had started. Bottom of the night, Game 7, American League Championship Series. Logan Mason on the mound with a 1-run lead. 2 outs, bases loaded. The exact situation that had made him the highest paid closer in baseball. The moment every pitcher dreams about. The ball sailed high and outside, nowhere near the strike zone, nowhere near his catcher's glove. Time slowed to a crawl as Logan watched it arc toward the backstop. He saw his catcher, Torres, lunge desperately, saw the runner on third take off, saw the entire season unravel in the 3 seconds it took for the ball to hit the padding. The crowd's roar fractured into a groan that felt like the earth splitting open. Logan's shoulders screamed. White-hot pain radiated down his arm, up his neck, into his teeth. He staggered on the mound, catching himself before he fell. His pitching hand, his $1 million hand, hung limp at his side. Torres didn't come to the mound. He stayed in his crouch, head down, not even looking at Logan. The runner crossed home plate. Tie game. Manager Phil Davidson emerged from the dugout, moving with the slow inevitability of a funeral march. Logan knew what was coming. He'd seen this walk before, had nightmares about it. The manager's hand extended for the ball. The crowd's polite applause as you walk off in the biggest moment of your life. "I can get this guy," Logan said. His voice sounded distant, like someone else was speaking. "Skip, I can." "Logan." Phil's face was gray. He'd been managing for 30 years, and Logan watched him age another 10 in real time. "Give me the ball, son." The Jumbotron camera found Logan's face. 50 feet tall, broadcast to millions, his devastation on display for everyone to see. His jaw clenched so hard something popped. His eyes burned, but he refused to blink, refused to let them see anything more than they already had. He placed the ball in Phil's palm, walked off the mound. 43 steps to the dugout. He counted everyone. They lost in the 10th inning. 6 weeks later, Logan's apartment in Manhattan was too quiet. 1,700 square feet of floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park, and the silence pressed against his eardrums like water pressure. He sat on his leather couch, the fancy kind that some interior designer had picked out, and stared at his phone. 43 missed calls. He'd stopped counting after that. The number felt appropriate. His agent, Derek, had given up calling and started texting. "We need to talk about next season. Call me back." His sister Emma wrote, "Mom's worried. I'm worried. Please just text me if you're alive." His former teammates, crickets, not a single one had reached out. That told him everything he needed to know about loyalty in professional sports. The TV played ESPN on mute. Logan had watched himself blow the save so many times he could narrate it frame by frame. There. That's where his delivery changed. There. That's where his shoulders started compensating. There. That's where everything fell apart. The MRI film sat on his coffee table, backlit by afternoon sun, streaming through the windows. He didn't need a medical degree to see the damage. Even he could spot the tear, the inflammation, the fraying edges of what used to be an elite athlete's shoulder. Partial thickness labral tear, Dr. Shapiro had said, pointing at the images with a pen. Significant rotator cuff inflammation. Bone spurs here and here. At your age, with your mileage, I strongly recommend surgery followed by 12 to 18 months of rehabilitation. 12 to 18 months. Logan would be 30 by then. Ancient for a closer. What about cortisone? Logan had asked. And rest? Dr. Shapiro had given him the look. The one doctors reserve for patients in denial. 6 months minimum. Maybe it improves enough to pitch again. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you do permanent damage trying. Logan had chosen maybe. The cortisone shot hurt worse than the injury. He spent 6 weeks in his apartment doing physical therapy exercises, icing his shoulder 4 times a day, watching his phone not ring with contract offers. Last night, Derek had sent a different kind of message. Summer League in Oregon needs a pitcher. Small town, no press, fake name. Chance to see if you still got it before we talk to teams. Below it, a link to a league website. Seaside Cove Summer Baseball. Old-timey logo. Schedule running June through August. Housing provided. Logan had stared at that message for 3 hours. Then he'd bought a plane ticket. Not as Logan Mason, former All-Star closer, three-time World Series champion, owner of a 1.87 career ERA and a devastating slider. As Logan Ray's nobody pitcher. Nobody at all. Seaside Cove, Oregon had one stoplight, and Logan hit it red. He sat in his rental car, a base model sedan that smelled like Pioneer freshener and broken dreams, and took in the town that would be his home for the next 3 months. Population 8,000. According to the faded sign on Highway 101, the main drag consisted of maybe 10 blocks of weathered storefronts. A grocery store, a hardware shop, a bar called the Ponderosa with a neon sign flickering in the late afternoon sun. Everything looked like it had been painted once in 1987 and then forgotten. The ocean sprawled beyond the buildings. Gray-blue and endless. Salt air poured through his cracked window. So different from Manhattan's exhaust and hot garbage smell that Logan's lungs didn't know what to do with it. Seagulls screamed overhead. A pickup truck with a rusted bumper idled next to him at the light. The driver, a guy in his 60s wearing a mariner's cap, nodded at Logan. Logan nodded back. The light turned green. The pickup didn't move until Logan went first. Small town courtesy. Logan had forgotten that was a thing. His GPS led him down streets named after fish. Salmon Street, Halibut Avenue, Sturgeon Way. Until he found the address Derek had sent him. 847 Coho Lane. Craftsman Cottage painted robin's egg blue with white trim that was peeling in long strips. The porch sagged slightly. The yard was mostly sand and beach grass. A rusted anchor served as lawn decoration. Logan checked the listing again. Fully furnished, $800 a month, walking distance to field. He'd paid more than that per night for hotel rooms on road trips. The front door opened before he'd even gotten out of the car. A tiny Asian woman in her late 60s emerged wearing gardening gloves and an oversized Seahawks jersey. She moved like someone who didn't understand the concept of personal space, closing the distance between them before Logan could prepare his customer service face. "You must be Logan." "Reyes, right? From the listing?" She pumped his good hand with surprising strength. "I'm Mrs. Chen. I own this place and 3 others on the block. You're going to love it here. Very quiet, very private. Perfect for a young man who wants to focus on baseball." "Thank you for it. The bedroom on the right is yours. Better match. The left one has a futon, but it's broken, so don't sit on it unless you want to end up on the floor. 1 bathroom, but the shower pressure is excellent. I had my son install a new head last month." She was already leading him up the porch steps, talking over his shoulder. "Kitchen small but functional. You cook doesn't matter. There's a hot plate. The oven is temperamental, but if you sweet-talk it, Mrs. Chen." Logan stopped at the threshold. The listing didn't mention. "Is this a shared rental?" She turned, blinking up at him with the innocent expression of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. "Didn't I mention? Your roommate arrives tomorrow. Peak season, you know. Housing shortage. All the summer people and tourists can't afford to leave a whole house to just one person." Logan's jaw clenched. "I specifically looked for a single occupancy. You'll love him. Very quiet. Barely home. He's playing the league too." Mrs. Chen patted his arm. "Come on, I'll show you around before it gets dark." She had the keys. She had his deposit. Logan was standing in Oregon with a duffel bag and a destroyed shoulder, too tired to fight. He followed her inside. The house was fine. Exactly what $800 a month looked like. Hardwood floors that creaked. Furniture that belonged in a beach rental catalog circa 2003. A kitchen roughly the size of his Manhattan bathroom. Windows that actually opened. A back door leading to a tiny yard with a view of more beach grass and a slice of ocean in the distance. The bedroom on the right was barely big enough for a double bed and a dresser. Logan dropped his bag on the floor and sat on the mattress. It was decent. Firm. He'd slept on worse in rookie ball. Through the thin wall, he heard Mrs. Chen puttering in the other bedroom. "Your roommate's a nice boy. Very enthusiastic. Makes videos on the internet, I think. My granddaughter showed me. He's got quite the following." Logan closed his eyes. An influencer. Perfect. Exactly what he needed. "Well," Mrs. Chen appeared in his doorway. "I'll leave you to settle in. Keys are on the kitchen counter. Trash day is Thursday. League orientation is tomorrow at noon at the field. You can walk. It's only 6 blocks that way." She pointed vaguely north. "And remember, be nice to your roommate. He's a good boy." She was gone before Logan could respond, the front door clicking shut behind her. Logan sat in the silence of his new bedroom, in his new house, in his new town where nobody knew who he was. His shoulder throbbed. His phone buzzed. Emma again, probably. He ignored it and started unpacking. The baseball field was worse than Logan had imagined. He'd played in stadiums with retractable roofs, diamond vision screens, luxury boxes filled with executives drinking top-shelf liquor.